We are going to make some little birdies today. So, this little guy right here. Ain't he cute? And we have a special guest. This little turd wad. Anyways, you're going to need wire. So if you have something heavy, this is 55-pound wire. The heavier the wire is, the harder it is to bend. So this is 16 gauge. So this is pretty hard to maneuver. This is 18. And this is 22. No, this is 18. And so this is steel. And this is nickel also. So this is probably 16 gauge as well. But this is nickel. And then this one is steel. I get this from the hardware section at Wally World. And then this comes from the Dollar Tree. And all of this comes from the Dollar Tree. So you might need some of that. So then maybe you'll be able to see it. So I'm gonna get this. And surprisingly not, he wasn't bothering me earlier. And then you're gonna get your wire and you're gonna measure it out to the size of the legs you want. He's fine. They're fine. So that's a little long. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bulb and we're going to measure it on our bulb to how long we'd want it. Like that. And then you bend the little legs down and see if you're happy with how long you'd like the legs. That's a little, well, I guess I'm happy with that. This is the last of my nickel wire, so I'm not going to use, I might shorten his legs a little bit. So, I went to the Dollar Tree today to go get some more, actually, and they were out. So, and then you're going to cut it with, oh, I guess I didn't tell you what you need. You're going to need pliers, and maybe a pair of scissors. That's what I've been using. And then your supplies. You're going to need, I guess, about 2 foot of this. And then you're going to bend this to a point. Like this. And then you're going to put it on here. And you want it on the middle of this, because once you stuff this, you don't want it coming open. So we're going to put that right there on the middle of that. Now you can put anything your heart desires in this. If you put meatloaf in it, it's not going to turn out that well. I've been putting glitter in them. And I don't know what I want to put in these. This is Burrito. He flew into the side of a barn one day. And accidentally became his name. He made pheasant burritos out of him. So I'm going to take some of these feathers. They're pheasant feathers. If none of you knew who Burrito was one of my star pheasants. Give me that one. That's a pretty one. And we moved him to South Carolina. When I put him in the pen, he freaked out and flew straight into the side of the barn. And knocked himself dead. So this is him right here that I'm stuffing into this. And it was funny because I was in the middle of processing him, because even though he flew into the side of a barn, I wasn't going to let him go to waste. So I processed him. He got the breasts, and I think the legs were fed to a hawk. She was an 8-year-old Harris hawk named Evie. So just like that, you know, stuff it full. Maybe the cats won't steal your stuff while you're not looking. So, yep, I'm not going to put, well, maybe I'll put a little bit of glitter in here, because you can't have too much glitter. Unless you accidentally spill it everywhere and it's in your house for months. Alright, so hopefully this is turning out good. I don't know if you can see me or not, if you just look at the floor. Or just the cat in general, because he's a nosy little punk. Okay, so now we're going to put the cat back on. If you have cats, they're going to be real interested in your feathers, especially if they come from wild birds like this one. Alright, so now we got it stuffed. Okay, we're going to put the legs on. So we are going to decide what color we want, because I'm at the end of my reel. I want the blue that I have, though. I think I'm going to do blue and tan to go with this purple. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and we're going to put it on there like that, and then we're going to measure it. So, like that, and then we're going to measure it. You want just a little bit more than what you would need, so, because you can always cut it off, but you can't put it back on. So, like that, and then we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to wrap it. So, I'm going to have it like this. So you're going to put your ball aside. I call these bulb birds. I also make them with rocks. I have an owl on there, but it's kind of long. I'm trying to not have this one as long. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping the wire around. This is just the cheap 99-cent wire from Walmart. If you have a nickel allergy, I'd suggest you get like some stainless steel, or just not do it at all. So just like that, just wrap it, and then we're going to put the bulb in there. And this is why you can't make the pre ones, because the bulb won't work. Then you're going to put the bulb in there like that, and this is where your pliers come in. You're going to wrap this, so just like that. You're going to make a loop, and you're going to wrap it around the wire, and you want more than one wrap, so that's why you have excess. So just like that, and then you'll pull it through. You can buy these pliers at the Dollar Tree too. And then how you can tighten it is you can just give it a turn. That will, if your pliers are new, it'll scratch off the paint a little bit, but that'll be okay. And then you just crimp it. Now if you tighten it too much, the wire could break, so there's that you got to be worried about. So we got him so far. He looks like this. So now we're going to make a wire from here across his little butt, and then to back over to this leg over here. So we're going to measure that out. This is going to be another blue one. So a little bit excess. Wrap it over. You don't want it at the end of the tail, but you don't want it directly in the middle. So we're going to cut it so it's going to look like this. And then we're going to wrap it around his butt. And then it goes around the legs. So this should be pretty simple. So it's going to go around the leg like that. And you can do it tight or you can do it loose. You can do it however makes you feel. You just got to be careful of sharp bits after you cut it. Make sure you tuck them up underneath if you're going to be handling these birds a lot. I just kind of like to give it a good squeeze so it sits flush with the wire. And then you're going to repeat this step on the other side. So like that. And then just repeat. So my chubby fingers are in the way. So just like this. Eef. There we go. And just like that. And then you get the pliers and kind of pull it taut. Just like that. Just give it a twist. Grab the end and twist it around. Like I said, don't twist it too much because you could break it. And then you can smash it flat, you don't have to. And then you're gonna pull the little legs around so it holds the wire in place. I'm gonna ignore them, they're trying to murder each other. And then you're gonna pull this piece, you're gonna give it a little lip down. So, just like that. So I just gave it a slight lip because you're gonna push that back up. And you'll need that for the tail. Hopefully this is long enough. If it's not, I'm gonna use my steel. And it's not long enough, so I'm gonna have to use a piece of steel. That could be used as the head though, so I can do that. So that should be long enough. So what we're measuring is the length of the body. So we want a single loop over that. So it's the length of the body. And then you want enough tail to make a tripod. So like this buddy's got this tail right here, because that's how they stand, is they got that third kickstand on there. The heavier they are, the harder they are to set up. And the heavier they are, like I said, the copper wire and the nickel wire that I use is not going to work. So then you're going to make a little hook like this, and then you're going to take it and you're going to hook it into that bit that you have hanging down. So just like that. And then you're going to close that hook. This one's going to be a little harder for me because this is the heavier steel gauge wire. So it needs a little more persuasion. Closure. Okay. So I'm just adjusting my bird now. So I've got it along the bird body. As you can see, I've bent it towards the bird body. And then I'm going to take it and put my thumb right here at the base of the tail. I'm going to bend it around. And then I'm going to bend this down so it's out of the way. So just like that. So it's just out of the way. And then we're going to need to put some braces from here to here. And then one on the back from here to here to keep all the wiring in place. And then you can use something to hold them. I've been using my shoe, but I didn't think you would want to see a big old shoe in the way. So I'm going to use the brown wire because it matches with the pheasant feathers. And I'm going to measure it just like I measured those. You'll need this one a little longer because you're going to be wrapping the tail. Okay. So you're going to place it along like that. And you're going to want one side. You're going to want one side longer than the other. So kind of like that. And then you're going to wrap the first leg. So it depends on how much you got. I think I only have enough for 2 wraps. And you're going to wrap it behind the blue or behind the wire that holds the butt. Because that's what's going to hold it to where it's at. So just like that. And then you can just squeeze it together if you want. You don't have to. And then you're going to put the tail wire right in the middle. And you're going to do 1 or 2 loops around. Just have whatever you feel. I might have enough for 1. So I'm going to loop this tail wire right here in the middle. So that's where it'll stay. So just like that. Yep, I had enough for 1 loop. So just like that. And then you're going to wrap the end of it at this leg right here. And this just keeps everything in place on the bottom. So you're going to go up and under, and then over, and then bring the wire back towards your thumb or back towards the tail. And then you're going to loop it around. Doesn't matter which side you loop it on, just as long as it's looped. So just like that. It's not looped very well. So it's just gonna look just like that. If yours looks messy, just don't worry about it. Everything takes practice. I've been making these birds for 2 years, possibly more, because I've been making wire animals since I was young. So we're going to take our tan wire again, and we're going to measure it from neck to back. This is what you're going to hook the head on, so you do need this. And then hook it. That looks about enough.
No.
Oh, Tiddles, you're fine. You're fine, Tiddles. Okay, so I'm gonna loop this from the neck to the butt. And it might take a couple times to figure out where it can loop through. Just find a space. And once you find that space, you can kind of pull it up and give you a little more. And you're going to do at least 2 or 3. And if you find that you've accidentally looped too much wire, don't feel bad to cut it off if you have enough to last you for the next, all the way to your next loop. So I'm trying to watch this because this is one of the thinner wires. That one might break. So just like that. And then I'm going to press this edge of this wire. You can see it poking out right there. I can't see the video monitor, so I'm just going to hope that it's where it needs to be. So just like that. And then we're going to loop this through here. And if we have enough, we're going to loop it to the tail. So what we're going to do is just loop it, just like that, and then we're going to try to pull it back, not too much, but enough to hold it. So like this, and then we're going to get it kind of centered, like that, then we're going to pull it back just slightly, so like that, just ever so slightly. And then I think I'll be able to do 2 loops with this one, maybe. Yeah, this will be able to get 2 loops in it. Just the loops just depends on the tightness of the wire. So 1 loop isn't that tight, and if you were to pull it with 1 loop, it would probably pull out. As the 2 loops will tighten it down to the wire and keep it from moving around on you. So then I'm going to take this last wire and I'm going to loop it around the tail. If you don't have enough, don't worry about it. You can do that later. So just like that, just loop it around. I'm going to go up to the top. I think if I went down, it would just mess up the tail on where it's at. So just like that. And I'm going to tighten it with my pliers. So we're going to do that so it's tight. And then I'm going to mash this piece down so that it's flat along the wire so you don't catch yourself. And then that seems okay. Alright, and then the edges of these wires are going to be sharp. So what we're going to do is make some little feet. Some adorable little feet. So like this. While I knock over the other bird. Just taking a nap, don't worry. It's just a slight dirt nap. Alright, so now we've got the little cute little feet. Aren't they adorable? Alright, now you can curve the legs to however you want. The taller they are, the taller your bird will stand. the taller your bird will stand, the more proud they'll look. We're going to do the same with the tail. We're going to make a small loop at the end. So, just like that. And there's your bird. And then, like I said, how the wire sits is how tall your bird will stand. So, stretch his legs out a little bit. You can have them pointed out like that, make kind of like a V shape, and the tail a little bit straightened out. You can also make the tail an extra foot, but I'm not going to show you that because I don't want that on my bird to look like that. Okay, so there he is, headless but standing. He's cute. Adjust the legs. If you adjust them too much, they'll break off and you'll have to put a new one on there. It's not hard, but it's kind of frustrating. Alright, we're going to work on the head. Let me make sure this is still going on. Okay. Alright, there's the head. So, basic, same thing. We're going to make a little loop where the beak is going to be. Alright. And then we're going to make a little half loop on the other end. And this half loop is going to tuck up underneath. So, that's kind of like a hook. And then we got a loop. And then we're going to move the head. Bend the head to however you want it. To wherever you like it. To however big you want it. Like this. And then, like I said, all I got is that heavy wire. So, I'm going to have to bend some of it to the shape that I want. So, we're going to take some more wire. This is the last bird because I couldn't find any more wire, so I'm going to have to go to the Dollar Tree and find some more. Alright, so you're going to take this. This doesn't need to be that long. So you're going to measure it from beak. Then you're going to put out just a wee bit. That might be too much, but should be good. And then you're going to bend it. Now don't bend it all the way. You're just going to bend it to measure it. And then you're going to cut it. So you're going to cut it so that they match. Just like that. So this is what your piece is going to look like. And then this, where the beak is at, this is going to go inside of there. Like that. And then you're going to smash it flat. So I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to smash it flat. Almost. Like I said, I got the steel wire. It's a lot heavy duty than the average copper or nickel that you get from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what it is, and I always throw the packet away. I don't think it's got any lead in it. I try my best not to use lead. Alright, we're going to want the desired length of our beak, so whatever you feel like is what you want. So I'm going to do it that much. And then I'm going to make a V shape. And then I'm going to make the cheeks, which is going to be kind of another V shape. And then it's going to bend down into the neck. So I'm going to do that with the other side. And then bend it down into the neck. I might need a pliers for this one. I have 2 pairs to hold it, but I haven't needed them. So just like that. And then, like I said, if you're going to use just the wire from the Dollar Tree, you're not going to need all this fandangling just to get it to where you want it to go, because it'll be simpler. Now you're going to make some little hooks right here, kind of like we did right here. So just like that, 2 little hooks. You can see it, hopefully you can. And then we're going to take our neck and just put it into those hooks. Doesn't matter which one's on top as long as they're both on there. And then you're going to squeeze it to close them, and it'll hold the neck in place. So, just like that. And I'm going to close them. And then you can, if you have the copper, it's easy to wrap it around, but I'm just going to squeeze it closed. Because the steel is hard to manipulate. Alright, so now there's your bird face. There, bird face. He looks a little sad. I might have made the nose loop a little big. So, that'll be okay. So there's his face. Like I said, mine looks a little sad. I might have to get the second pair of pliers out. They're in the box. I just don't want to grab them. So like that. Alright, so now we're going to take whichever color wire you feel. I'm going to do the blue one. I'm running out of blue, but I'm going to do the blue one. So this, you'd want this to match with your beak, is why I'm saying that. So like if you had yellow, I guess you could use yellow for the beak. I'm going to use blue. I guess it would have been better to use the tan, because to match the feathers, but I'm going to use blue. We're going to do 2 loops, 2 wraps around on the upper part of the head. So 2 wraps right here, and then you want it to come down right here under the beak, under the first wire, and then you're going to slowly wrap all of the wires together. So this will keep the head from moving around, and it'll give it a good look. So just like that. So there you go. There's his head. And then we're going to shape the neck to how we would want the neck shaped. I kind of like them having a curved neck like that. And then we're going to make an L down here at the bottom of the neck like that. And we still got the hook. And we're going to hook it. So we're going to take our body and we're going to hook it right here on this back wire. And we're going to make sure that hook loops around that wire, because that's what's going to hold it in place. And then we want to close the hook around that wire. And if your wire breaks, it's not the end of the world. And if you don't think it looks good, I'm sure it looks fantastic. And whoever you make it for, whether you be you or your grandma, it's going to look good. So, just like that. We're not done, but it's going to look just like that. So what I did was just wrap the neck wire around here. So I had the hook, and then I looped it under, and then I wrapped it. So now, we're going to take some more brown wire, or whatever color you choose. We're going to get... We're going to measure the length of where you have it. Kind of like that. Kind of maybe double the length on it of the neck where it hooks up. And we're going to cut it. And where we're going to wrap it the first time is we're going to fish it underneath this blue wire. So under this blue wire right here. So I guess come from above. And then there's like a hole, so just look for the hole, and then we're going to wrap it, and then just loop it under there. And then you can hold one part with a finger, and then we're going to wrap the first part, the top part, around the top of the neck. So just easy as that, just wrap it. Don't need your pliers, but you can use them. I'm going to use them to fold over this pointy bit, and then maybe give it a couple more wraps to tighten it a little bit. So just like that. And then you have it looped under here, so then you're going to loop both the back wire and the neck wire together. So just like that. So here's the neck wire, and then right here would be the back wire. So I got them together, and then I'm going to kind of loop them together. And then you're going to do that however many times your wire will let you. Hopefully it's more than 3, because that'll just give strength to your bird's head. Oh, and burrito did become his name. He became a breakfast burrito. Oh. No, I don't have that recipe because I gave him to somebody. So, just like that. This one seems kind of loose. I'm going to try to... Alright, just like that. Ain't he cute? I'm going to keep bending the wire on the leg. There we go. And we have this. Maybe put him all the way back over here. Look at that leg. Look how cute he is. He's so adorable. Alright. And then you can just leave him like that. Or you could use feathers and ribbons and bows and packaging and wherever the who's were going with that. So there he is. Isn't he cute? Look at his face. Alright. So now we have our box of wonders. So all of this is from the Dollar Tree. Well, some of it's from Wally World. This is from my pheasant. This I got on Amazon for like 10 bucks. If you do get feathers, beware, your cat will enjoy the crap out of them. So, and then you can just fix these to where you want them. Since he's got feathers in him, I might not do too much. I could just do 3 of these. And as far as being appeasing, I took a arrangement class in high school, and I was told that things of 3 and things of odd attract people. So I'm going to do 3 of those, and then maybe 2 of these right here. And they have a holly on them, so maybe I'll add that holly. This is fake pointsetta. If you want to use a real pointsetta, it is very poisonous to your cats and your dogs. And then I have ribbon. Maybe I'll use the ribbon, I don't know. If you already have the fun bags of tricks, then you'll already have stuff to enjoy it. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to make your arrangement first, and then you're going to put it on your bird. So, I want these 3 feathers. That's what I want. And then I want these 2 poinsettas. And then this one poinsettia fruit, whatever they call it. So I'm going to cut the poinsettas. I'm going to use a pair of pliers because these have wire in them. They're bendable. So I'm going to cut these poinsettas. And then I'm going to cut this one. I want enough length, and then I'm going to cut the berry off of it. And then you can use these leaves, they come right off. So you can slide off. You can see they have this little hole in them that you can use them on something else. And then you can keep this, but if you look, it has wire in it. So you can use that for something, but it just makes them more bendable. And then we just put these together how we want them. So the feathers, you have to be careful because they break real easy. So when you wire them together, the wiring situation is unforgiving. So I'm going to make a loom for those. And I guess I'll do it with my blue wires. Oh, I moved it over here. I'm going to make it with my tan wire, I guess. So I'm just going to make a small loom for these, which is basically just making some loops for these little feathers. So it separates them from each other. So when you put them on something, they're separated. Because they'll like to bunch up and then they won't be apart when you're trying to use them for stuff. So just like that. And then you slide the feather through. And then you kind of tighten it down. With this copper, you can just use your fingers. You can use your pliers, just don't tighten it down too much because it'll break the feather. You don't have to do this with the poinsettia and the other fake stuff. Just the feathers. And really you don't need to do these with the feathers either, but it keeps them apart. Because they like to bunch up. And one more. And I like to wrap the wire around my pliers to lessen the break on my feathers when I stick them in there, so it'll already have that loop on them. And then they'll be separated, and then you just have to make sure that the eye is pointed in the direction you want before you snap them down, which I didn't, so one of them's pointed in the wrong direction. Oop. That arrangement class I took was for FFA, I believe. Because when we didn't have the animals, we had the plants. So we always had the plants or the animals. So every year we'd have a fundraiser to arrange plants. And we just go outside, and we had these bushes outside that we would pick them off of. Alright, just like that. And then they're all together. So now we can put the plants in front or behind, and then like I said, they move, so then you just wrap the feathers around them, just like that. I know you didn't see it, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're smart. Okay, so there's one. I'm gonna put, well, make sure you take the label off of it, because as much as people want to know that it's a poinsettia, pretty sure it's not going to look good. Alright, so I got those bunched just like that, and then we are going to put, I guess we can use this extra and put it on here so we have extra greenery. You can get it through there. Sometimes the jagged end at the end won't let you. Alright. And then you kind of want to adjust these before you put them on the bird, but you can also adjust them after you put them on the bird, and this is what I mean by bunching up on the feathers. So we got all these together, so we're going to take some green wire. Doesn't matter the color, but green, even though it's still visible, it's less visible, I guess, at the eye and the eye catching kind of point. So we're just going to take just a little bit, we're going to nip it off, and we're going to wrap all of this around all of this. So we're going to start not at the top, we're going to squeeze about that much at the bottom, enough that you can get wire a hold of it. And then I still got wire from the feathers, so I'm just going to fold that over, and that'll help hold it. As you can see, I broke one of the feathers right there. And then you're just going to pinch it and then wrap it. So pinch, and then take a little bit. You're going to want a little bit at the edge. You're going to take the fat part or the long part and just wrap it around. You're going to try to get it as tight as possible, and then just continue wrapping downwards. Try not to wrap over. Kind of just wrap in a line. So as you can see, I have three rows. So you're going to do that until you get however many rows you want. I would suggest more than 5. So just like that, and then that's wrapped. So you're going to take this other part and just continue wrapping around, going upwards. So what the bottom does is it helps hold it, and then you take the top and you wrap it, and then you're going to take the sharp wire and kind of fold it over so it's not so sharp. And if you think it doesn't look good, I'm sure it looks fine. There's a place for everybody. So just like that. That's actually really pretty. I like how that turned out. Of course, you always have that one rogue guy that doesn't like to pay attention, but that's okay. So now you're going to put it right here. This is where it's going to go, right here. So it's going to go like that. So what I like to do sometimes is find a place where I can put something through, which would be this feather. So take just one of these feathers, I guess, where it would go through there, so that it's kind of entwined, if it'll go, just like that, so that it's kind of entwined. I don't like how that it's moved the feather outwards, though. So just like that. And then you're going to wire it on there. So I'm going to use probably this tan that I've been using. And I'm going to get a hefty amount, I guess. So, probably about that much, so probably about a good 8 inches. So we're going to tuck it between the tail, just like that. And then just like before, when we took that length of wire on the outside, and we're going to leave it off and use just one side. Oh no, they're attacking each other. Alright, where were we at? Wrapping? You want to make sure that it doesn't try to slide down on you. Uh-oh. This one's being uncooperative. Once you get a couple loops going, though, it should do what you want it to. It might struggle there for a second or two. So just like that. And then we're going to loop it around, make sure it's where it needs to be. And of course it's going to do that. Okay. So you're going to need 5 hands for this one. And just loop it and try to get it as tight as possible. Just like this. Just like that. And then you're going to, after you got that little bit, if you have enough, if not, it's not too worried about. You're going to loop it under one of these pieces and then try to bring it back up to the top of the tail and then try to loop it up here so it doesn't slide down. So there's the tail bit right there, the part to the back. You're going to loop it behind that. Maybe. I might not have enough. I might have to do it in the front of it. This just keeps it from sliding down the tail, in case your cat gets a hold of it or something. You're still out? Yes. Thanks, Tiddles. Alright, so just like that. Oh, I guess like that. Oh, you see I got that looped right here. And then we're going to take this top piece and kind of do the same, but on the other side. So we're going to take it and we're going to loop it once around. If there's enough. Nope, there's not going to be enough. Okay, so I don't have enough. So we're going to just put it right here. So this tail piece right here, we're going to loop it around. We're going to do a couple loops on that one.
You chicken shit piece of crap.
Wanna go to bed, Tiddles? Yeah, you pretty girl. We got our children locked in the room. Alright. So just like that. Now you can adjust it to however you want. You have all these sticking out too, so if you want to kind of hide those, you can. But there's your bird. Now how I would hide those is maybe take some ribbon or more wire and kind of wrap it up over there. Or you can take some actual ribbon. So, actual ribbon. And I think I got these from the Dollar Tree too, so I live there practically. They should just pay me rent, or they should just pay me to live there. Alright, I got my ribbon undone. I'd have to go let my cat in her bedroom so that she doesn't use the bathroom on my floor. So, I'm going to be right back. If the ribbon's moving around, it's probably the fan.